You know, let me holler at y'all for a minute. Just give me just a little of your time, you know, and holler at you for a minute. You know, I was speaking to an older friend of mine, and he was telling me that he was going to his high school class reunion, you know. And then at the same time that I was pondering on that thought, you know, I got a call, you know, from a good friend of mine telling me that a partner of mine lost his life sitting in the car. And then at the same time that I was sitting here grieving over my homeboy who got killed in the car, I find out through a brother of mine who called me and said that my homeboy, who I studied with, who I gained to have much love and respect for, also died in a drive-by shooting, you know. And so I want to speak on some of the facts why it won't stop until we stop it. Now, my boy Bo, one of my brothers who lost his life over the senseless violence, did a video, you know, for one of his brothers, motorcycle brothers, club members who lost their life over the senseless violence. And he asked everyone to light a candle on the corners in remembrance of the loved ones they lost, in hopes that it would inspire the ones who, the killers or the perpetuators of gang violence, to stop. I want to add to that and say we need to be real with ourselves. You know, I hear a lot of black folks, I hear a lot of my people say, because of the past, or we give too many excuses and we giving too many justifications to why our people, our young people, our little kids is out there killing each other. We give excuses instead of really getting to the solution of fixing it. See, we need, it starts with the parents. Most of us as parents, we're in denial about our kids gangbanging. We see the company our kids keep. We see the dress code. We see the colors. We see the sign languages. We hear the words. But yet, we still are in denial about your son or your daughter gangbanging. The same shit that when you're looking at the news and it's describing a gang homicide or a murder, it's the same shit your kids doing. But you can't see that because you're in denial. Because you don't want to admit that you haven't taught your kids right. Then we have the parents who know that their kids gangbanging and do nothing but pray. See, God works when you work it. So, and then you got those sections of parents who gangbang with their kids. I got homies from the hood and homegirls from the hood. Half of their motherfucking kids is from the hood. So how could they tell their kids about, or how could we tell our kids about something that's wrong when we're doing it? You know, people just got to be real. You know, Jesus said, love was 2 big commandments. You know, to love God with all your heart, body, mind, and soul, and to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Prophet Muhammad said, you're not a true believer or a true friend until you want for your brother or your sister the same thing that you want for yourself. So we got to ask ourselves that. Do we really want good for ourselves? How could we want good for ourselves when we don't want good for our neighbors? When he said you got to love your neighbor like you love yourself. Or you're not a true believer or a true friend until you want for them for what you want for yourself. You know? See, it'll never stop until we stop the lie. You know, most people, you know, when they go to jail, you know, we hope for appeals. We hope for the law to change. I'm saying we hoping for a lenient sentencing, whatever, right? But the minute we get back out, we start doing the same shit that got us in jail. That brings me to say that most people don't want to live or live life until they put into near-death situations, jail or hospitals. You know, but even like we got to be real with the homies. You know, a lot of us been to prison, a lot of us been to the county. You know, we know how it is. We don't really want to be there, but yet when we call the homies on the street, we ain't telling the homies on the street, man, you know, this shit ain't worth it. How this shit really is, man. And so we continuously perpetuate this bullshit. We perpetuate the gang lifestyle like they got us celebrating Christmas. We know Santa Claus don't exist, right? We know no North Pole, we know all this stuff, we know nobody coming through the chimney, but yet we know it's a lie, but yet we still keep it going on to our kids. And that's exactly the same thing we're doing as parents. You know, most people in the church, you know, we got to have a member, a family member, a neighbor, some type of relative that gang bang or no gang members. But we don't try to help each other. So it ain't gonna stop until we start with love. You know, and we have to stop making excuses for ourselves and for our kids. That's when it's gonna stop. You know, it's so crazy. You know how we don't even know the real reason why we're doing it, but we're just doing it. It's just like motherfuckers want to jump on the fad. You know, nobody really know. Everybody can sit here and tell you, okay, in 1968 or 1969, Stanley Tookie Williams or Raymond Washington started the Crips. You know, but who started the Bloods? Right? You know, they'll tell you oh, the LA Browns, blood started from LA Browns, but the question still is like, who started the Bloods? You know? You know, who was the first Blood or the first Crip that got killed that kicked off the beef? We know who started it. Now, who kicked off the war though? You know? So that's what I want to know. Somebody tell me that. You know? And so, and another thing, you know, they say Tookie started the Crips, but when you read the history about Tookie and how he lived and what the Crips was doing then, it ain't the same as what the Crips is doing now. So, is he really the leader of the Crips? You know? And so, we need to really stop and think. You know? You know, all over America, you know, you got people dying over red or blue, Crip and the Blood, or Vice Lord and GD, or North and South. When we don't even know the real reason why we beefing. But yet, you know, I used to sit there and say, like, damn, I knew that, okay, I said, okay, they came up with the B because we black. Okay, all right. And then I said, okay, they came up with the C because we colored people. We belong to the colored nation, right? And they came up with the P is because we people, right? And so they got these groups of people killing each other. But we don't even know the reason why, you know? But I was sitting there thinking, I said, damn, okay, I see how they did that, but how did they come with the concept of red and blue, you know? Until I started studying history. And then I read the American Revolution, you know, and that was, the armies back then wore red and blue, right? And then I look on the street, and all over, you hear in America, people are dying over red and blue. So that tell me who started, that's my answer on who started the Crips and Bloods. You know? We have to realize, man, that we've been through some phases in history, and you know, and they all begin with P's. You know, we've been from the pyramids to the plantation to the prison system. That ain't the way to be, man. That you know, we have to stop being a paycheck for people. You know, we have to start loving each other. You know, it's an old saying that say, it takes a village to raise a child. You know, but it's a trip now when you look at the village, the community, or the neighborhood. You know, it's the concept, the whole village is destroying one child now instead of teaching and raising one child, you know. But it's just a trip how, you know, we can look at movies like the Django or 12 Years of Slavery and see what our ancestors went through, right? And still leave a movie theater and still kill another nigga. Man, I don't know, you know. The only thing I can say is this. You know, it changes when we individually change. You know, like, you know, I'm blessed to be here, you know. Like on Mother's Day, you know, I got shot at 2 times in one day, right? And believe me though, I could have been a fool, right? And went out there and really got some get back and, you know what I mean, and got my man, right? But it ain't worth it though. You know, what's worth it to me is to be able to kiss my wife at night, be able to hug my kids and tell them I love them. So that's the reason I changed on the niggas who did something to me. And I'm telling you, who also, you know, had something done to you because of this bullshit, instead of retaliating, I'm saying just kick back and live life, man. Time to catch up to a fool, right? But basically, it ain't gonna stop until we stop it. You know, I remember one of my teachers, you know, told me that if you want to kill a devil, you just got to change your ways, you know. And so that's what I'm saying to us. You know, we are our biggest enemies. You know, it ain't the white man, it ain't no other race. It's us. We have to change. We have to stop perpetuating this lifestyle. You know, it's sad that when you look at history and you look at these positive organizations that we had at one point in time, just look at how long they last. No more than 2 years. But yet, this foolish shit, the Crips and Bloods, been going on over some 30-some years. But the only reason why it exists is because we keep it alive. So the same way how we changed our thought and stopped being people of pride and became people to people that commit fratricide and kill one another, change our thoughts and let's do it. So I leave you with that to next time. But I say, you know, I'll be looking for your views because, you know, I want to know, you know, tell me, you know, who was the first Crip or the first Blood that died that started this war though, you know, so that, you know, I can tell my own boy, you know, or I can explain to my kids or, you know, why I did the shit I did, you know. I banged all my life. I banged. And I still don't even know what the war is about. That's why I quit. And I'm telling you the same thing, man. There's no purpose. What's the purpose of you putting in work and you being turned up and with the business on the street, and then you go to jail, and then you have to be cool with your enemies. The saddest thing that I learned, you know, no matter like I did a lot of traveling to like different states and stuff like that, and yet I see like the bullshit everywhere that's going on with black folks, right? But it's a trip. The only place that I visit that it ain't no bullshit with black folks and that we get along is the motherfucking prison system, and that's sad though. You know, what do we got to go to jail to get along with each other? You know, but if we can sit here and say, oh, we got to stop beefing with each other because it's a race war in jail, then why the fuck we can't say that on the street? So I'll leave you with that.